Bio 4. I've already done a recording on the program that actually allows me to rotate the torso on the posterior trunk and leg, but I want to do it again now on just diagrams. So you have lots of different views of the same thing. So let's look at these muscles. We're going to start out with the trapezius. And this is a really nice diagram of it on the cadaver, colored in. You see it going all the way up to the neck, the scapula, and down by the spine. So we want to look at an action of each one of those. You'll have to know the action, at least one action of all the muscles. So the trapezius here, we're going to give it the action of elevation of the scapula. That makes sense, right? If it's attached here onto the spine, it can actually lift this and elevate the scapula. The first muscle that you see on the posterior side of the cadaver, the trapezius. Okay, the deltoid. This is one that people tend to know just from knowing it, from existing. So it comes over your shoulder, and it is in charge of abduction of the arm. It really fans out so that you have it. This is posterior, you can see it, and the anterior, it's one that fans out extensively and allows you to abduct your arm. Big muscle. Okay, latissimus dorsi. So we saw the trapezius up here, and now your lats are on obviously lateral sides of your body, and they're on your back. So latissimus dorsi is a really good name for it. And the action of that is extension of the arm. Teres major. Teres major is a muscle that you can touch on yourselves right now if you go kind of just above, just by your armpit, coming out towards your back. You can feel a big chunky muscle there. You should do it right now. See if you can feel it. And what that does is laterally rotates the arm. See, if it's going to attach onto the humerus, also it's going to allow it to laterally rotate. Again, I'm going to switch my mouse so that it doesn't jump around. Okay. This is showing some of the attachments. Okay, rhomboideus major. So to see the rhomboideus, we would have to actually remove the trapezius. Do you notice? On this side, this would be the trapezius. And now on this side of this cadaver, we have cut the trapezius, moved it away, and under it you are seeing the rhomboideus major. Very easy to see once you remove the trapezius. And what it does is it elevates and adducts the scapula. See if that makes sense. Look, elevate. If you're attached here, you can lift this, right? So you can elevate the scapula, and you can adduct, so you can bring this sort of in this way. You can adduct also. Good. Erector spinae is really, it's not a great photograph here, but it's a group of 3 muscles that run parallel to each other, and we just name them as they come down the spine here, and they extend your back. It makes you stand up straight. So that's a good name for it, erector spinae. Supraspinatus. I don't think I can move this. I've lost my S here. So supraspinatus. And you remember the spine of the scapula. This is right above that. So it's supra, above the spine, supraspinatus. And it is a big stabilizer of this joint. And also, it's also able to abduct the arm. Abduct. Move away. Infraspinatus. So we've gone above the spine. Now we're going below the spine. And what that does is it externally rotates the arm. So this guy's showing how he can externally rotate his arm in that position. Here you're seeing it, just a piece of it, because it's hidden here by the trapezius, but still you're able to see some of it. Infraspinatus, under the spine of the scapula. Subscapularis. So for the subscapularis, we're looking anteriorly, and we're looking through this diagram, and we're looking to the under the scapula essentially, but we're looking at it from the anterior side. It's under the scapula, and what it allows you to do is to medially rotate the arm. So I have a little picture of what it means to medially rotate, and this coming out would be laterally rotate. Okay, so let's switch now to looking at the hip muscles. And this is a very, very easy one. We all know this before we take anatomy. It's your gluteus maximus. Okay, so gluteus maximus, and here it is in a drawing. And it allows here extension. So it's showing here extension of the leg. We'll call it thigh, extension of the thigh. Okay, gluteus maximus, there it is again. And then the gluteus medius. So in order to see the gluteus medius, you really do have to remove the gluteus maximus that would have been, here. And so the medius, you can see a portion of it sort of above it, but we've removed it, and that is, coming in to the ilium there is where the medius would be. And here is a vision of it here. This is another interesting little muscle that's in there. It's called the piriformis. We'll get to that. And the sciatic nerve coming down. So the sciatic nerve is in a very tricky position there. If you were to take a buttock shot and come straight here, this would be the most painful thing. So really, all shots that are in the buttocks are going to be given in the gluteus medius and not in the gluteus maximus. And in that way, here you would completely avoid the possibility of hitting the nerve, of hitting the sciatic nerve. And the action of that is abduction of the thigh. Abduct, move it out. And there's my piriformis that I had highlighted out. This is, we see it in a little triangle form, but this is the full muscle here, coming over to the femur, from the sacrum to the femur. This can get tight for overuse in athletes also, and when it gets tight, it compresses the nerve right there, the sciatic nerve, and gives people a lot of nerve pain. So that could definitely be a problem with the piriformis. There's many stretches that one can do to stretch the piriformis. The action there is the lateral rotation of the thigh. So I put a picture in for you. So you're going to laterally rotate. Your foot's going to come more lateral for that rotation. Now let's look at posterior thigh. As I said, there's another video on this, but let's look at it again with these pictures. So in posterior view, we're going to look first at the biceps femoris. Biceps femoris. Look at it, it's coming from the ischium all the way to the fibula here. And this is going to allow flexion at the knee, and also because it crosses two joints, it's going to allow you to also extend at the hip and flex at the knee. Very visible when you're looking at it, biceps femoris. Now let me show you here. The semimembranosus is going to be more medial to the biceps femoris. So I remember that because it's membranosus, meaning medial. So it's going to be more medial. And then we're going to add a third there, which is the semitendinosus. And the semitendinosus is going to have a very long tendon that comes down to the tibia. Semitendinosus. So more medial, membranosus, semitendinosus, and biceps femoris. Those are the three that look very alike because they have three little bellies in a row. So start from the medial end, and then you'll remember semimembranosus, semitendinosus, and biceps femoris. Posterior leg. Now let's look lower. This is only a couple of muscles. So you have the gastrocnemius. Frogs have a big gastrocnemius because they're really good at jumping. It's going to allow for plantar flexion. Plantar flexion. It's an amazing muscle. It has to lift your entire body up, right, when you go up on your toes. So that's the gastroc, and if we were to remove the gastroc and look below it, so we take this out, and under it here is the soleus, also plantar flexion. And that's the soleus. And those are all the muscles that you need on that posterior torso and leg. Thanks, guys. Bye.